This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And Wyoming Sports Talk Today is being brought to you by Mars Plumbing Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons, open 7 days a week. First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Lennox Auto Body with the main repair center on Dunn Avenue and the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. Medicap Pharmacy on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Platte Valley Bank, 2 locations. The original location on Van High, the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Chick-fil-A, the corner of Windmill and Delrange. Serving up 3 squares for you Monday through Saturday directly across from Menards. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. You will find them on Highway 30. And Taco John's of Cheyenne, where they are doing the Nachos Navidad gift cards. And, of course, we got Thursday Night Football tonight, so you definitely want to grab a 6-pack and a pound to watch the game. And, of course, we get things underway with our scoreboard, and it's being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
Recapping from last night, LCCC men's action at home against Northeastern Junior College. It was a close one. It was a victory, however, for the Golden Eagles as they come away with a 67-65 victory. So LCCC moves to 4-6 overall. Reminding folks, coming up tomorrow, at least tomorrow night, 7:30, tip-off over at the RAC. LCCC women in action. They will play host to Colorado Springs Ballers. So pregame 7:10, tip-off 7:30 here on 1480 KRAE, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com, and also 2 video live streaming as always on Periscope and the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel. On top of that as well, if you have not seen on 1480KRAE.com/schedule, we have posted the high school basketball schedule for 2018-2019. So we will see Cheyenne South, Cheyenne East, and Cheyenne Central throughout this at least season, getting at least things underway coming up here December, Thursday the 13th. Cheyenne South will be down in Greeley for their little preseason conference opener. So again, more of that high school basketball schedule you can take a look at 1480KRAE.com/schedule. NHL action for tonight. New York Islanders in Boston taking on the Bruins at TD Garden. The Columbus Blue Jackets hosting the Minnesota Wild. New York Rangers in Ottawa taking on the Senators. The Tampa Bay Lightning playing host of the Buffalo Sabres. Arizona Coyotes traveling to Nashville to see the Preds at Bridgestone Arena. Winnipeg Jets at Bell MTS Place hosting Chicago Blackhawks. LA Kings in Edmonton taking on the Oilers. And the Vancouver Canucks at Rogers Arena playing host to the Vegas Golden Knights. That's what's happening NHL action for tonight.
On the NBA schedule for tonight in the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, I guess you could say a possible preview, and it looks like that the Warriors have kind of gotten their house in order. We'll see if they have
No
tonight.
Steph Curry tonight.
I know, but KD says we're back, and it'll be the Warriors.
Like again, in the regular season, it does not mean squat to this team.
Well, they're 15-7, and they survived the storm of 4 in a row.
Yeah.
So they are 4-5 on the road. Oh, by the way, Warriors and the Raptors tonight in Toronto. Pacers and the Lakers tonight. That will be at Staples and in the Golden One Center in Sacramento. The Sacramento Kings, they will face off with the Los Angeles Clippers. On the NFL schedule, I guess we can say it's a good one tonight because any team that beats the Dallas Cowboys, it's a good game. It'll be the New Orleans Saints taking their 10-game win streak on the road tonight as they will face off with Dallas and Arlington. It is the New Orleans Saints 10-1 going up against the 6-5 Cowboys for Thursday night football from the National Football League. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Perotti, Nick Perotti back in studio. Of course, we weren't taking the day off yesterday. We were doing hoops over in the RAC. LCCC Golden Eagles hosting the Northeastern Junior College Plainsmen out of Sterling, Colorado. We'll get to that here in just a little bit.
Both teams on a losing skid, and one of them
dropped it as of last night. Let's talk about the Wyoming Cowboys real quick. A couple of things coming out of Cowboy land, but we'll keep it on the basketball frame right now, where the Cowboys lose to the
lost again.
Evansville Purple Aces. Final score last night was 86-78.
Let me just say, another team that the Cowboys probably shouldn't lose to, even if it is on the road. But again, a team that should be a little bit subpar than the Cowboys, but this season, as I've kind of just written it off already, it just kind of improves even more right now that Coach Allen Edwards and this team, they don't really have if this is how preseason's going, Mountain West Conference, where you're going to see the likes of a top 5 Nevada team, a very good Boise, a very good CSU, this is beginning of the story.
Well, and again, unlike Josh Adams did years ago, he could put the team on his back. Unfortunately for Justin James, he can't put the team on his back.
He can only do so much.
I mean, he set Cowboy records last night: 34 points and 20 boards, 20 rebounds for the kid last night.
He's just getting no support.
And the only support he got off the bench was Hunter Thompson, Pine Bluff's own Hunter Thompson, with 15 points. But the rest is just a complete drop-off. And for the Cowboys last night, losing to the Purple Aces of Evansville, Indiana. Evansville is 3-0 at home, okay, and they're 3-3 overall. But the Cowboys have dropped to teams that are insignificant.
Again, you shouldn't be losing to a Missouri Valley Conference team.
UC Santa Barbara. Niagara.
Yeah.
Teams that Evansville.
Yeah.
I mean, these are teams that, again, Cowboy teams used to just bowl over. And all of a sudden now we struggle against the second-tier teams. So where does that put us? If this is a second-tier team, where does that put the Wyoming Cowboys?
It puts you as one of probably the worst representatives of the Mountain West right now at this point in time. Again, the Cowboys.
Holy Toledo.
Again, I doubt myself. I doubt the preseason rankings of this team finishes 7th overall. My expectations now get even lower for this team.
You thought they were going to be 500. I don't
see right now of how things. Again, I think this is the beginning of the storm that's going to be this 2018-2019 season for the Cowboys at this point in time. Again, Justin James, a phenomenal athlete. Again, we've said that how many times. He has no one there around him to help. But again, this is a whole bunch of fresh faces. They're a part of Allen.
And let's throw this out on the other side, where we see that right now on the JUCO side. Again, these are all younger guys, freshmen, that are trying to mold into the system of Allen Edwards. This is D1.
Well, again, Allen Edwards, his system is, hey, you're going to be there for a lengthy time compared to one Jason Ficca of, you're used to seeing new faces year in and year out. It's nothing new for him and also to every other school across the region.
They have to mold together right away. This team can be brought along slowly. Again, this is why you have preseason. If anybody expected the Cowboys to go 30-0, it's not going to happen.
Well,
now, if they are they going to be at the Mendoza line by the time the conference season ends? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't really believe so at this point in time. Again, what we're seeing outside of, at least of the Cowboys in the Mountain West.
And the crowds at the AA are panning out too.
Yeah,
they
the crowds
don't have no faith
at this
in
point
this
in time. There's no point to even talk about it because, again, no one's showing up for this product that's being placed out there at the AA. Again, the only product right now you're going to go out to Laramie to go see is the Wyoming Cowgirls, who have at least not struggled, but they've had their at least a few contests here in the early preseason, but I think the Cowgirls will be fine throughout the regular season. But the men, though, they're well behind the 8 ball. Mm-hmm. Again, if you're struggling against preseason, I don't think anything is going to, like, for instance, going back with LCCC, what Jason Ficca wants to hope for his team is come January, this is where his team will fire on all cylinders, get a little rush of momentum going through Region 9 North into the postseason, at least playoffs. I don't see that for the Cowboys. Again, going through the Mountain West. You might defeat. I think you'll defeat San Jose State. You'll defeat some of these lower echelon, maybe Air Force.
But what's to say you can't split with them?
Yeah,
I mean, don't go and give 2 games.
But I'm just saying the Mountain West is not a guarantee that the Cowboys are going to do anything special as well.
But back in the day, you could look at the Mountain West Conference schedule, and you could say, you know what, we should get 2 here, and we often do, and we should get 2 here, probably a split. Very rarely do you get swept.
Yeah.
These Cowboy teams of the past, the better teams. Right now with the Cowboys, if you look at the upper tier teams, there's about 3 or 4 teams I think will sweep the Cowboys, whether it's in the AA or at their place. It's just I don't see the Cowboys beating them. They don't have the manpower to do it.
Nevada is going to be, again, a thrashing once they at least play Cowboys.
I think CSU
should take care of them. San Diego State looks like a force. UNLV looks revived. Boise State knows how to win.
Boise State.
So again, Utah State is a toss-up. You don't know what to expect. Fresno State, a toss-up.
Split.
San Jose State, you should sweep them.
You should, but I'm going to go with the split, especially when you got to go to San Jose.
And then Air Force, who knows?
Air Force, they took care of Missouri State last night, 88-69. So they can put the biscuit in the basket.
Yeah.
Fresno State.
No series, though, is a guarantee for the Cowboys of winning 2 straight, winning them all together. There are a few, though. Again, I would say Nevada. You're not getting 1 from Nevada. I don't think you're getting 1 from San Diego State. New Mexico looks a little improved.
Well, here's the deal with the Cowboys. Whether it's a good team, an average team, or one that's going to be under 500, they usually sneak up on somebody and beat somebody, and it's usually in the AA. I don't know who it's going to be.
It's not happening against Nevada this year. I'll tell you that.
I don't know who it's going to be, but it'll be one of those games that we don't expect them to win. Anyway, Indiana State crushing San Jose State last night, 86-57. Fresno State over Pacific, 81-78. Air Force beating Missouri State, 88-69. Utah State over Northern Iowa, 71-52. Utah State should beat Northern Iowa. Air Force should beat Missouri State. Fresno State surprisingly struggled with the Pacific Tigers.
They still got the victory.
And that went overtime.
Fresno is not a basketball powerhouse.
Well, that went overtime last night, so that one kind of shocked me. And then Indiana State. I mean, the Sycamores just went into San Jose and just crushed the Spartans.
But again, the Spartans are just awful altogether. Every sport that they play in, yeah.
All right, so that's what happened with the Cowboys last night.
This season is almost a throwaway for the Cowboys. Again, it's something where
it's not a throwaway. It's a growing season again.
Well, that's why I'm just saying. Don't expect this team to do anything special. Again, how many times I have to repeat myself about this team, but they're not. They're not going to the NCAA tournament. They're not going to NIT. They're not going to any postseason action. They're not winning the Mountain West Conference. It's going to be a long season, a rebuild season. Hopefully that translates into next season, even though you're going to be missing your key piece right now who's going to hopefully get into the NBA draft, Justin James. Well, that will be interesting. Guy who is leading your team right now, who will take in at least that leadership role that you'll be losing next season. Granted, we're just barely into this.
Well, and here's the part of the schedule that kind of concerns me now for the Cowboys.
This is where it gets a little bit
They get
tough.
the University of Northern Colorado.
Good outfit out of the Big
Now,
Sky who
the
beat them
Bears,
last year.
Yeah, the Bears this time will come to the Double-A.
Well, they came back. They were here last year and beat the Cowboys on that same
And
floor.
then they'll have South Carolina about 4 days later on the 5th.
Good luck.
Then they got the DU Pioneers.
DU is very good.
Now, I'm a little nervous about that. Then they get Eastern Tennessee State Buccaneers. These are the teams that, you pencil in they should win.
Well, they're not beating.
And I don't know if they
are. They're not beating DU. They're not beating South Carolina. They're not beating Northern Colorado. I'll just say that right now. Eastern Tennessee State, yeah, you should beat them. But will they? The question is right now for where we go into these games of they should beat them, you kind of have to put a pause on it and go, are they?
Well, here's
beat
the
this
deal
team?
that the Cowboys need to do, at least before Boise State on the 2nd of January, the 21st against Eastern Tennessee. And again, these are home games. They got to beat them. They got to have some momentum. Then they get Dixie.
You should beat that.
Dixie State Rebels. They definitely should beat them. And if they don't, then I'm a little nervous.
You should already be nervous.
Well,
at
I
this
know,
point,
but again, you're going to be home. The Cowboys are going to taste home cooking for the next all through December into the first week of January.
Yeah.
So I mean, and here's the sad part. The sad part of all of this is we're going to have Christmas vacation coming up. So what?
Students are already not showing up, but they're going to be completely gone.
Yeah, so I think the last time that the students will have an opportunity before they blow on out for Christmas vacation and end of first semester would be the DU Pioneers. So Eastern Tennessee, not going to be a great crowd, and depending on in winter setting.
Not a big opponent.
Dixie State.
Not a big opponent. No one cares.
And again, students are still out when Boise State comes to town.
And I think if anything with those two of Eastern Tennessee, Dixie State, you probably put them in that at least Christmas break positioning because you should beat them. You don't really need the crowd to get behind you like a DU in Northern Colorado, a South Carolina. You need those fans to show up to give a little support. I think that's why you schedule those teams there, at least those lower echelons, to go, we know fans will not show up. It's Christmas break. Students will not be here. We don't really need at least that noise to help us out, at least get past those teams. But who knows? Again, every team at this point in time is not a guarantee for this.
And looking at just, here in the preseason, Nevada, 7-0, Utah State, 6-1. So obviously they're for real. New Mexico has not played a lot. They're
Utah State is, I wouldn't say it's for real. Let's see what happens once again in the Mountain West play.
New Mexico 3-1, Fresno State 4-2, San Diego State is 4-2, Colorado State is 4-3, UNLV 4-2, Air Force 3-4, Boise State 2-4, San Jose State bringing up the rear at 1-6. So Cowboys right above them at 2-5. So that's what's going on in the preseason. And again, you take preseason for what it's worth.
I think
you have to win the conference. That's the bottom line.
I think with this preseason, though, it is an indication of what Cowboys team to expect throughout this entire campaign. Though it's not looking like it's going to be anything pretty out there on the court.
Well, the point of the Cowboys, it's going to be Justin James, and the question is, with Justin James, will his compadre show up? Because again, I like what the young man does, and he is an excellent basketball player. But the question is, he
has no support.
It can't be a 1-5 situation. And again, thankful that Hunter Thompson got in the 20 minutes last night for the Cowboys and paid off in dividends. Good to see him back on the floor. So again, Allen Edwards now will have to make some decisions too on Hunter Thompson. Again, the kid's coming back off the concussion protocol, and again playing half the game last night. So there's a little help there for Justin in the form of Hunter Thompson.
A little, but it's not going to be enough. Again, you got that support. You're having great numbers by those two. Still results in a loss against Evansville. Try doing that against a Nevada. Try doing that against a CSU. Try doing that against a San Diego State. Try doing that Northern Colorado, South Carolina, DU. It's still not going to get it done.
Well, absolutely. You're not I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. I understand exactly what you're saying.
At this point, I say we move on. We got other things to talk about.
All right, well,
the Cowboys, again, this preseason it's an indication of what this season is going to be overall.
Now, you were telling me yesterday, and I saw the tweet this morning when I came in, of the 7 eligible teams.
Now, the Mountain West.
And again, let's run them down. Boise State, Utah State, Fresno State, Nevada, Hawaii, San Diego State, and the Wyoming Cowboys. It looks like the Cowboys might be on the outside looking in. We thought maybe they might head to the Arizona Bowl.
It's more sounding like it is than it is more. It's not speculation at this point in time, as I think the only team right now that has locked in a bowl bid is Hawaii at the Hawaii Bowl.
Right.
They will take on La Tech.
You can't do anything until the Mountain West Conference Championship game. You can't really decide who's going.
Oh, Craig Thompson, commissioner of the Mountain West, has pretty much done that, at least of decided of these teams are going to make it, but one isn't. And that one is going to be the Wyoming Cowboys. This was comments yesterday as a little media summit by Commissioner Craig Thompson of the Mountain West. Came out and discussed of at least postseason, talked about how much revenue the Mountain West Championship was bringing into the conference, how many at least bonuses for coaches around the conference, blah, blah, blah. But when asked about the at least bowl bursts, who was at least looking, would we have 7 representatives? Again, this is coming from Craig Thompson, Commissioner. He kind of backed off and said, nope, it's looking like there's only 6, not going to be 7. And that one team that's on the outside looking in that we've been discussing is the Wyoming Cowboys. It's right now, their only shot is the Arizona Bowl. Will Arizona accept them, or is it going to go to San Diego, someone else, Nevada?
And here's the deal where the Cowboys could go. San Diego's lost 4 out of their last 5. They got beat by Nevada 28-24. Their win came against New Mexico 31-23. Their last 3 have been losses at versus UNLV in San Diego 27-24. They lost at Fresno, which is not a surprise, 23-14, and then they got beat by Hawaii in San Diego.
Well,
31-30.
What is Hawaii? The Hawaii's kind of turned it around this season.
Hawaii's 8-5. I mean, that's the only difference. They already knew they were going to a bowl game. So, but San Diego,
Hawaii has done well, at least so far off of the island.
See, San Diego's kind of limped into. If they get into the bowl, they're going to limp in there.
But look at those wins.
But look at the Cowboys, though. The Cowboys beat CSU, San Jose State,
sub 500,
Air Force,
sub 500,
and University of New Mexico. But they won their last 4 in a row. So
against teams you were supposed to beat that were sub 500, one of the worst teams in the Mountain West.
I agree, and I'm not going to throw that away, and I'm not going to say, gee, Nick, you're crazy. I'm just saying, right now, which team has the better momentum?
It'd be the Cowboys, absolutely.
Right. So, and where would you want to stick the Cowboys at 6-6? Well, you'd want to stick them in the lowest bowl possible.
And that'd be the Arizona Bowl.
In Tucson, Arizona. Who's going to travel better to Tucson? It's closer in proximity, I do believe, for San Diego.
Absolutely.
But it's also
a quick trip, at least across that interstate.
It's not even that. I mean, you fly from Lindbergh Field into Tucson. I mean, that's a direct flight. My point is, what is a better proximity? It's San Diego. The better draw probably would be the Cowboys. Now, again, the Cowboy fans, will they buy the allotment of tickets where they won't lose any money? I think the Cowboy fans and the administration of UW probably will have a better sell to the Arizona Bowl than San Diego.
They had difficulties. They had difficulties last year.
San Diego doesn't bring their fans. They don't have fan support.
But Mountain West also, too, reiterated of what happened last season. Granted, it is going up to Boise, Idaho. Wyoming had difficulty selling tickets up there where they didn't sell their full allotment. They had struggles trying to get those tickets sold for Boise, Idaho for the famous Potato Bowl.
Again, Boise, Idaho, Tucson, Arizona in December. Where would you want
to go? Guess what? In the trendy thing that is at least the 2010s of what have you done for me recently, that's kind of on the minds right now.
Cowboys won last year. They won their bowl game.
But of money, though, of ticket sales, of bringing fans to these games.
All right, I think the Cowboys.
Cowboys struggled last year.
I know, but they will sell more tickets than San Diego. San Diego's not a good travel team.
Again, what have you done for me recently? Now that's going to stick in the Mountain West Conference. It clearly has with Commissioner Craig Thompson going, all right, we'll send all the rest of these fan bases. San Diego has a larger, at least, TV market that's going to possibly send more fans. So at least you're going to have more in that condensed area to possibly at least toss out there to the easy route to Tucson than probably the state of Wyoming that maybe not will show up to this contest.
However, with Wyoming, and again,
right now for the Cowboys, it is all indications. It's a long shot at this point.
They're on the outside, but I'm just going by the team with the better momentum heading into a bowl would be the Cowboys.
Again, does that matter to the commit? Does that matter to?
Well, here's what
does
might
it matter to the bowl selection committees
here's
out
what
there?
Might matter to the commissioner.
They care about money.
Listen to this. In the grand scheme of things, nobody from the Front Range would be represented. Air Force is not bowl eligible. CSU, definitely not bowl eligible. Wyoming is the only team from here, Laramie, all the way down to Colorado Springs. Now, again, I know it's not the biggest
CSU
Front Range
fans going to watch? Are Air Force going to watch
Probably
the Cowboys moving
not.
on? No,
Probably
so,
not.
I
The
think
Denver market is not going to watch.
Yeah, the Denver market is not going to care if the Cowboys move on to any bowl. They're not tuning in for that unless you're a diehard college football fan, which there are probably a select few out there in the metro area down in Denver. But other than that, though, it's a situation for the Mountain West. Do they even really care? You're saying in the grand scheme of things, these commissioners probably, at least these bowl selection committees and this commissioner doesn't really care. They're more interested of, here, advertisers, look at the crowds that we're bringing to here. Here's the money that you'll bring in. Here's the fans that are attending to buy concessions and blah, 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 blah. Again, it's all about the money for these bowl games.
I will tell you this, though. If San Diego gets the Arizona Bowl, which they right now are one of the two candidates for it, if San Diego gets the Arizona Bowl, they're going to lose money. I guarantee you. They will not bring the fan contingency. Yes, they'll bring you the San Diego television market, but they're not going to bring you the fan support. So there's going to be a lot of empty seats.
There's question even if
at the
Wyoming
University
would.
of Arizona.
There's question if Wyoming even would.
You know,
I think both schools.
I've been to the Copper Bowls down there, where again,
you don't think folks around here? Yes, it is a bowl, at least bowl bid for the Cowboys. But of everything we've talked about this season for the Wyoming Cowboy football team, it's the main word that sticks out to me is kind of just. It's I just lost the word. But
here's the deal. When I went to the Copper Bowls. And I was down there for Cal and the Cowboys. That was a hell of a crowd down there in Tucson. And then as they went back again and took on Kansas State, yes, the fan support dwindled. Now, again, the Cowboys have been to 3 bowls in a row, if they go, if they get the invite. They went to San Diego, had good fan support there, even in the rain. You said fan support dropped off for Boise, Idaho.
Well, we got those numbers direct from 80.
But I'm just saying it was a shorter jaunt to Boise in the famous Potato Bowl. And now going down to Tucson, again, I don't know if we have enough snowbirds out there to cover the fan base. I doubt it. But the point is, you're absolutely right. San Diego is going to draw a bigger television market. The Front Range is not going to pretty much support the Cowboys. So and again, our state is, that's the bad part of Wyoming. We're only 540,000
fans are
strong.
really down on this team. Fans, this season has not been exciting. Not exciting at all.
Not until Sean Chambers stepped into the quarterback.
But even then, though, for a 6-6, 500 season, it is mediocre. Fans, are we in the minority or the majority? From what I can tell, we're kind of slowly convincing people, slowly getting them all into this kind of majority thinking of this mediocre season, which it was, 500, 6-6. You beat teams that were sub 500. Congrats, you're supposed to do that. Are these fans drawn in enough to go to at least Arizona Bowl? Are they that in tune with this? Are they that diehard to go and see this bowl, at least game for the Cowboys? Again, a team who is 500, 6-6. They struggled to get to 6-6. They had to win 4 in a row against lower echelon Mountain West teams. They have, out of the 6 wins, they have really no quality win.
Right.
No one was quality other than probably Wofford.
And again, and you're absolutely right, Nick. Out of the Mountain West Conference,
Am I excited
No.
as a Cowboys fan? Am I excited for this team to at least compete in a Tucson, Arizona Bowl against whoever? Probably a Sun Belt team or a know-nothing mid-major team that also barely snuck in. It's my famous phrase of I got better things to do than watch that.
Well, and the Cowboys in the 12-team Mountain West Conference finished exactly the way they played this season. They finished exactly where they should finish, 7th out of the 12 teams.
Yeah.
If you think about it, they got beat by Utah State, Boise State in conference. They got beat by Fresno State. They got beat by Hawaii. So there's your 4 Mountain West Conference losses right there, teams that are above them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you look at their only significant win of the season was New Mexico State. That was their only significant win in preseason against Wofford. They barely beat the Barriers.
At home, barely beat them.
I mean, they got
A
crushed.
team that had traveled from South Carolina here.
They played well against Washington State for a good majority of the game.
For a half.
And then
the
they
second
go to
half,
Missouri. The same thing with Missouri. They played okay, and then they got crushed.
I don't know about okay. They played.
Well, in the first, we were keeping eyes on that. Let's say about the first quarter and a half.
They couldn't get points on the board for that entire first half.
Boise State, they did a number on them. Hawaii came off the islands, where they're not that powerful, and beat the Cowboys.
Actually, Wyoming had a
beat them in Hawaii. Excuse me. Beat the Rainbows beat them there. So and they struggled. Rainbows actually struggled in that one. Excuse me. And Fresno State, they went there and kind of the defense. This is what I was chiming about all season long. The defense wins championships. Well,
but
at Hawaii only giving up 17
Fresno
points.
State in that contest, beat the spread prediction. So
yeah, but I mean, it was 27-3. The Cowboys just don't have any offense.
Yeah.
Then they have Utah State.
Hold
Utah
on.
State only
Before
had
you
24
even
points.
move on, who cares about recapping this season? This season should just be kind of washed away. Again, it was mediocre. It was nothing. This is not a memorable season of what the Cowboys had. It's pretty much just wipe fresh out of your memory and look forward to 2019 at this point in time. But
2019's got question marks.
The key thing that also, too, probably stuck with Commissioner Craig Thompson and also, to these bowl committees around at least these guaranteed Mountain West bowls, this team has no offense, has nothing special. What are folks also, too, entertained by, or what they get drawn into to watch these bowl contests?
High-scoring affairs.
Absolutely. Offenses that can be entertaining. The Cowboys have one of the worst offenses in all of the land. There was a point in time they were 119th. They were just above Rutgers. And I don't think they've really much improved since then. They've kind of gotten out of the darkest of the basement and moved up maybe a few slots, but they're still one of the worst offenses in the land. That might also too play into where, hey, advertisers, again, it's the main thing of advertisers. We want fans to tune in to see your ads, see what the bowl offers, see what the stadium is like, blah blah blah. But our fans, fringe fans who are not part of the Mountain West, part of Wyoming Cowboys, our fans from New York, our fans from San Francisco, from Seattle, from Texas, are they tuning in to see the Cowboys?
Do you actually believe any of these, of the 8,000 bowl games, you think they draw crowds from all over the world? You get looky-loos and then boom, they're bored.
I think you have looky-loos
I'm just going to say this.
For teams that you know of Boise State, again, teams that are recognized.
Here's my selling point to Thompson.
I think people tuned in last year for who was Josh Allen.
I know, but I'm just going to say it. For the selling point of the Cowboys, their last 4 games, they put up 34, 24, 35, and 31. So I'm just saying the offense came to life. 2 of those games with Chambers, 2.5 of those games with Chambers, and then the other game and a half with
your winning percentage was below 500 against those 4 teams that you finally got offensive production against. Against teams that are above 500, you have non-existent offense. You're going to see a team in a bowl game that is above 500, or if not 500, of what you have not seen for quite some time. Is that you kind of play the averages of, okay, here's what they did against terrible teams. They're going to see an okay team, if not a pretty better team of what they've seen in the last 4 weeks. Can they at least have reproduction of what they did on that offense? Probably not.
Well, the thing is, too, it's up to Arizona who they want. I'd right now. No one has a feel. Like I said, the tweet that I saw basically said Wyoming out. So,
and I think that's fair. And something that we've discussed, something that I've said, that the Cowboys they deserve a bowl after this season. Nothing has impressed me or nothing has shown that they deserve one. No, I think this is the correct way to go about it.
Okay.
And I think what they got for Wyoming, you should be very angry, at least at the Utah State Aggies, for losing to Boise State, where that was your outside shot for Utah State to go compete in a New Year's Six Bowl. And then that would free up a slot for Wyoming to sneak on into a Mountain West Tide Bowl.
I agree. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We are past break, and we'll be back with more of Wyoming Sports Talk today right here on 1480 KRAE.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
You may have heard that hearing loss and dementia are connected. This is true. Untreated hearing loss can increase cognitive delays, or dementia. This is Dr. Ruby Zubrod inviting you to join Brandt Audiology and Tinnitus on December 5th at Poor Richard's Restaurant at 12 noon to learn more about this connection. Lunch is covered and you must have reservations. Call 426-4327 to reserve your seat. Can't make it? Call and schedule an in-office consultation.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find a store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 44. And for tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with a chance of snow with lows around 25. On Friday, it'll be cloudy with highs around 40. And on Friday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 25.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. We have another break left here. I just want
We got two, so
Okay,
that's
well,
why you want to get into your thing.
Let's get into that, and then
we better hope we have time.
Well, we will. The Oakland A's sent out artist drawings or computerized images. The Athletics are looking at moving out of the Coliseum.
As we know.
And again, this has
something
to go
we
through
discussed at the beginning of the season, where they said, "Hey, Oakland, you're not going to work with us. We're going to buy out that property," which they have done, and they have said, "Hey, the city of Oakland, if you're not going to help us, we're going to do our own thing."
Right, and right now there's no announced price at this stage. Matter of fact, the California Environmental Quality Act assessment has to begin immediately for the possible move.
Go figure. In California, you have to go through red tape.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people are moving out of California. Anyway, right now they are looking at what they call the ballpark at Howard Terminal. And this is, I mean, really.
It's a diamond design.
It's an absolutely gorgeous look. It's, you'll see San Francisco, you'll see the Bay Bridge, and the Port of Oakland. This is right on the waterfront there in Oakland. And I think the A's, hit a home run with this. I really do. If they,
it's artist concepts, nothing is guaranteed.
well,
Nothing is
if
even
they go with this route, they've hit a home run. I say get the hell out of the Coliseum because, again, like you said, the Coliseum, it says redevelopment at the Oakland Coliseum. Well, if Oakland's not going to help you.
If you saw the redevelopment, or at least the artist concept of what they want to do with the Coliseum is chop it pretty much 2/3 and a half, have an open field look like a Double-A minor league team.
This reminds me
and in the concrete jungle that is surrounding it, there's many, at least square footage of just open parking lots, and I've been out there, I've seen it. They want to convert it into green grass around the Coliseum.
Yeah, it's like, they have out their concert series called The Day in the Green. It will be a Day in the Green. This kind of reminds me of the Concord Pavilion or Red Rocks, where you're outside watching the concert. This is what it's going to be like. It's a joke. So for the Athletics, I think what they're basically telling the city of Oakland, screw you. Here's what we're going to do.
Well, they've done that. They did that earlier this year.
And I guarantee you, the folks in Oakland are going to get behind the Athletics on this one because, again, the artist drawings and the computerized images of this is absolutely gorgeous. I think this is what the Athletics need.
Well, the A's definitely need it, and they don't need to stay in that area there in Oakland with the Coliseum. Obviously, Golden State Warriors, I do believe next season, or at least in 2020.
Next season. Yeah, they're gone.
Oh, yeah, next season they'll be jumping ship over to the new Chase Arena there in San Francisco, so that'll leave Oracle open, and the only team that will remain, at least until 2020, will be the Raiders when they move to Vegas. Will be the Oakland A's. They're in that horrible Coliseum.
Yeah, well, they
in probably one of the roughest areas of Oakland, where late night you don't really want to watch a ball game out there.
Right.
And fans have kind of told the A's that we've seen in recent seasons, even with the A's being successful last year, fans still don't really want to turn up to go to that.
And you only got 35,000 seats there. What I like here about this ballpark at Howard Terminal, it looks like the same group that put their computerized and their artist drawings together. It looks like the same group did the conception for the Tampa Rays when they were going to move out of the Trop, and evidently that got stalled. I hope the A's don't stall on this one. I hope they go for it.
That's just the main thing. Will they or won't?
You got a new group in there, and they want to spend some money.
A's have done this many times though throughout their years of saying, "Hey, here's the new Cisco Field," and I do believe that was going down to Fremont. They have entertained many ballparks in recent years,
and this
but none has
won't
ever
be ready until 2023. All right, we need to take a timeout. We'll be back. We have some Week 11 football picks for you coming up.
Taco John's wants to help you simplify your holiday shopping and help you score a $5 TJ bonus card. First, the shopping. Need something for your coworkers? Give them Taco John's gift cards. Don't know what to get your BFF? Give them Taco John's gift cards. Mom, dad, brother, sister? 4 words. Taco John's gift cards. Now the $5 bonus card. That's simple too. Just buy $25 in TJ gift cards and you get a $5 bonus card for you. It's going to be a very Merry Crunchmas. Only at Taco John's.
Style and value come out strong on the newly redesigned 2019 Kia Forte. AJ Miller here for Kia of Cheyenne, and the Kia Forte has new performance improvements and technology innovations that rival the competition, and Forte is priced less. Right now, during our Light Up the Holiday sales event, you could save even more on the new 2019 Kia Forte. Compare Forte to Cruze, Corolla, or Jetta and see that the Kia Forte offers you even more for less money. Come by or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
Shopping for the golfer on your Christmas list is really easy when you stop into the Airport Golf Shop or the Prairie View Golf Shop. Right now, enjoy savings up to 50% off on selected items throughout, and remember, gift certificates are always available. Or talk with Mike and his staff about golf repair or re-gripping the clubs for next season's play. From golf balls, apparel to golf clubs and more, do your holiday shopping for the golfer today at the Airport Golf Shop at 4801 Central Avenue or the Prairie View Golf Shop at 3601 Windmill Road in Cheyenne.
Hello, this is Pastor Nathaniel Ensley with Blessed Hope Baptist Church in Burns, Wyoming, and I would like to invite you to listen to our weekly broadcast entitled Hope for Today, right here on 1480 KRAE, every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Our goal during each broadcast is to bring you a simple and short Bible truth that will be a help to you. Sure hope you can tune in. God bless you.
Due to our stormy season this summer, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service is offering you a hail of a deal on a wide variety of travel trailers, including toy haulers. Get up to an additional 50% off MSRP on Jolly Rogers' already low prices. Check out their new and used inventory. Damaged or not, you can still travel in style. Call Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service today, your exclusive Jayco dealer, at 634-8457. See them at 6102 U.S. Highway 30 or go to jollyrogersrv.com. There are a lot of things that can go wrong with your vehicle, and most of it is a minor problem. And John at Shine Auto Repair and Service knows the right way to get you back on track. So with temperatures heading south, now's the perfect time to winterize your car or truck. This can be done with a simple oil change, maybe a tune-up, checking the thermostat, brakes, and shocks. It's the little and important repairs that Cars has performed on all makes of vehicles now for over 25 years to keep you motoring along in any season. For an appointment, call 632-0498 or stop on by at 604 West Lincoln Way. Shine Auto Repair and Service, open Monday through Friday.
The next time you have a craving for authentic Mexican cuisine, visit Hacienda Guadalajara at 317 East Lincoln Way. Locally owned and operated, they serve their dishes with family tried and true recipes, with the freshest of ingredients, made to order. Start off your meal with their complimentary chips, salsa, and bean dip. And if you're feeling adventurous, enjoy your favorite margarita or cerveza. Hacienda Guadalajara, where the spice is always nice.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480, KRAE.
I want to remind everybody, coming up next hour, it'll be our LCCC Coaches Show. Lady Golden Eagles head coach Brian Ortmeier first, and he'll be followed up by Jason Ficca. I do believe it's going to be David Appelgren joining us today.
Why do you add an S to it? It's Appelgren.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm tired.
You do that every time, though. I
didn't do it last night.
You had his name in front of you, and you still had the S to it.
I'm sorry. I did it one time today.
Do we need to go back to Dr. Dan, see if we can get any more pills for you? Help your brain out?
No, what we need to do is just axe you out of the equation. And
axe me, then you don't have everything here.
All right, let's go to our picks because no one wants to hear you anymore. You bore us. All right, where are we at? What did we do last week?
We weren't here last week due to Thursday was Thanksgiving holiday.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, there you go. Again, there goes that mind once again.
That's a senior moment.
Yeah, anyways, it's something you might want to get looked at. Week 11 picks, standings-wise,
Am I still winning?
By 2.
Thank you.
Again, it's a handicap. So
you are my handicap.
Don't even after what you've been doing. Anyways, our weekly picks, as I'll remind folks, those who are playing the home edition with us as well, 5 games out of my choosing of games that are of interest, whether it is NCAA action, NFL action. We even go out to NBA, NHL whenever I feel like it. But
can we do it today?
Yeah. We can, since you took up all the time. Anyways, though, we will pick against the spread for the NCAA games. I will give you 3 little factoids to sway you in either way. So we'll start with game number 1. Number 14, Texas. The Longhorns, 9-3 overall, 7-2 in the Big 12. They will take on number 5, Oklahoma. They are 11-1, 8-1 in the Big 12. This will be at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. 10 a.m. kickoff, ABC, this on Saturday. It is the Big 12 championship. The Sooners, they are a 7.5-point favorite going into this contest. Now, Saturday's game will feature the programs with the most Big 12 championships. Oklahoma has 11, and Texas has 3. A win Saturday will mark Oklahoma's 4th straight league crown, and Texas leads this series 62-46-5. I'll let you go first on this.
Well, I'm going to go with Oklahoma in this contest. The reason why I'm going Oklahoma, I need them to make 2 defensive stops. I mean, defensively, they suck. Offensively, they are a powerhouse, and Texas will not stop them. So if they can give me a stop on a couple of red zones, I think that Oklahoma should cover the 7.5-point spread.
Well, if I want at least a little mass turbulence in the college football playoff, I'm going with Oklahoma as well. I think they'll cover that 7.5. I do believe Oklahoma will take care of business in neutral site to possibly possibly make it into that top 4 for the college football playoff. So we will both go with the Oklahoma Sooners for the Big 12 championship. Game number 2, we'll move on. It will be number 1 Alabama. They are undefeated at 12-0, 8-0 in SEC play. Will be against number 4 Georgia, the Bulldogs, who are 11-1, 7-1 in SEC play. This will be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, GA. 2 p.m. kickoff, and you can see this game on CBS, the SEC Championship. Crimson Tide, 13.5-point favorite against the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, Alabama does lead this series, 39-25-4. The Crimson Tide is 27-7-1 all-time in domed stadiums, including an 18-2 mark since 2009, and is 19-4 in Nick Saban's tenure. Alabama is 87-49-4 all-time in 140 neutral site contests. So with that all being said, against the odds, I will go against the grain on this one to get my turbulence in the college football playoff to knock off number 1 Alabama. I'll go with Georgia in the friendly confines of Atlanta, GA, where a lot of Georgia fans should show up for this contest, as they have done in the past. It's going to be tough, as it always has been for Georgia, but maybe this is the season. I'm going to say it is going to be the year that Georgia, they get the win.
Georgia doesn't get the win. Alabama will.
I say Georgia does.
That's fine.
I'm just saying. I'm hoping for Georgia.
I'm going to take Georgia and the points. I think 13.5, especially for this game of this magnitude. Georgia's not that bad of a team.
No.
If they don't make mistakes like they did towards the end of last year's championship game, I think they can go toe-to-toe with the Alabama Crimson Tide. So I'm going to take the points and go with Georgia in this contest.
So we'll agree with Georgia on that contest. So you'll take the points, not necessarily to win. I say Bulldogs create that at least mass confusion and get the victory against the Crimson Tide and will be your SEC champion. Moving on to game number 3 as well on Saturday. This will be the Mountain West Championship. Number 25, Fresno State, 10-2 overall, 7-1 in the Mountain West, will be at number 22, Boise State, 10-2, 7-1 as well. This game will be played at Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho, 5:45 p.m. kickoff on ESPN. As I mentioned again, the Mountain West Championship game, Boise State, the Bronx, 2.5-point favorite at home for the title game. Boise State is the only school to host the Mountain West Championship 3 times in a row, and the home team is 4-1 in the previous 5 editions of the title game. Since falling to San Diego State, the Bronx have reeled off 7 straight wins, tied for the 5th longest active winning streak in the country, and Boise State does lead this series all time with Fresno State 15-6. So I will let you go.
I'm going to go with the homeboys in this one. I got to go with Boise State. They're going to win this thing outright. And again, doesn't matter what happens this game for Fresno State or Boise State. Not going to help the Wyoming Cowboys. But with Boise State winning, they already beat Fresno State before and should have no problems beating again.
I mean, Boise's beaten them how many times now?
Well, I'm just saying they know
how to take care of the Bulldogs.
And the good news, their tune-up game before Fresno State was Utah State. So they proved everybody that they are probably the top team in the Mountain West.
And also, playing on the blue turf against Boise has proved time and time out that it's impossible to do. So, yeah, Boise, they are your Mountain West champions. It's unfortunate to say, once again, it's kind of getting boring at this point with Boise State, but, hey, that's what winning programs do is they keep on at least getting it done. This is something we could say for probably next week after this game gets wrapped up, but for the Mountain West Championship, you can't find a neutral site like in every other conference out there. You can't send it down to Denver for whatever reason, where your Mountain West Conference headquarters are at, to go play at Denver, at least Bronco Stadium. How do we not have a neutral site yet for the Mountain West Championship? You don't think this is a little unfair? You don't think Fresno State has an argument? It's kind of my argument with the Mountain West basketball tournament being played at UNLV, where we see the Running Rebs. We saw it last year with the Lady Running Rebels, who had no shot to at least advance on. They were a low seed, yet they still found a way to win because it is their home court. For me, it's something like this.
Would you like the 800 number of the Mountain West offices? You can call Craig Thompson.
I've done it many times. They don't return my calls
because they know who you are.
They know that will challenge them.
There's like a sign on the door. Don't talk to this guy. He's a moron.
They talked to me last year. They talked to me last year at Vegas, but they know that.
Who cares?
Again, we were going to call them out about the Gonzaga thing.
They just don't do it in in football.
They don't like you. Anyways, game number 4, we'll move on our weekly pick, so at least we'll both agree with Boise State on that game. Sunday, we'll move to NFL action between the Minnesota Vikings, 6-4-1 overall, at the New England Patriots, 8-3. This will be at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. 2:25 kickoff on Fox. The Pats at home, 5.5-point favorite against the Minnesota Vikings. At home, Minnesota does not impress me at all. New England, same with the Boise State Broncos. They know how to win. Yeah, New England, I got them.
Well, unfortunately for the Vikings, they're going to find out what defense is. Unfortunately, the Packers didn't provide any of that last weekend. The
Packers don't offer a whole lot this season.
The Pats seem to be all healed up on both sides of the football right now. And defensively, they're not that bad.
New England's starting to click. They're starting to figure out.
And you got
they're
Gronk
becoming
back.
that dangerous team at the right time where here we are at the tail end of the season to compete with Kansas City, possibly knock off Kansas City, who, in my opinion, I still think the Chiefs are the top dog right now in the AFC.
Well, anyway, I'm with you on that one. I got to go with New England and Foxborough.
So we'll agree on that one. So it's kind of a kiss of death
So
right
far
now on
we're
our picks.
Did you go with Oklahoma as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyway. All right, maybe we'll have a different opinion here.
Probably. We'll see. Anyways, game number 5, final contest for us for our Week 11 picks will be the LA Chargers, 8-3. They'll be on the road at Pittsburgh, taking on the Steelers, who are 7-3-1. It will be at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, PA, 6:20 kickoff late night on NBC. The Steelers at home, they will be a 3.5-point favorite for Sunday Night Football.
All right, I'm going to go with the Steel Crew at Heinz Field, just simply for the fact what happened last week at Denver won't happen again. The Steelers are hearing noises behind them right now. That would be the Baltimore Ravens. The Chargers kind of solidified right now in that number 5 hole. They can have an off game, and I think this one will be this isn't going to be your 4 or 5 matchup for the AFC playoffs. I guarantee you this is going to be one of the matchups. Anyway, Chargers won't get the Steelers this time. We'll get them the next time when they play. I got to go with Pittsburgh. They're going to rebound back after the loss to Denver.
If Chargers want a shot at Kansas City, if they want to vault up and be a for-real team and defeat for-real opponents, this is that opportunity for the Chargers. I'll go and believe in Phillip Rivers on the road even though my gut kind of want to go with Pittsburgh, they're as well a good team. Primetime at home, they know how to get it done. But I feel like this is that game. The Chargers kind of make people start believing of what this LA team can do. At least besides the Rams.
And I was going to go with the Chargers, Nick, but their kicking game what has me worried.
Yeah, the kicking game has been an issue for past 2 seasons right now for LA, but this is the one that I believe Phillip Rivers and the crew can get it done. This is that statement game that they need to get people to start believing in them that they can be a force coming up in the AFC.
Not against the Steelers.
not an elite AFC team, but something that maybe they could advance past a wild card or something like that. But I'll go with the Chargers.
You catch the Steelers in that first round of the playoffs. You don't catch them after losing to Denver. This is going to be a very ticked-off team when you play them Sunday night. All right,
maybe Pittsburgh has more. They have more issues than we realize after that loss against Denver.
No, I don't think so. I think they'll get it all fixed up here by the time the Chargers come to town. All right, we got to take a timeout. We'll come back. Our LCCC Coaches Show on the way right here on 1480 KRAE.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And it is hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today and Thursday, LCCC Coaches Show Day. We will have the LCCC women's and men's basketball coaches in to chat with us here momentarily. Hour number 2 is being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. You'll find them over on Highway 30. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, serving up 3 squares right across from Menards. We also have for you, sponsoring our program, Platte Valley Bank ×2. Eastsiders, you'll find them right there at the corner of College and Pershing, and, of course, the original location on Vanda High. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body, the main auto and truck repair center on Dunn Avenue. And we have the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank at 15A Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. Great APYs right now on their CDs. They also invite you to come on by for banking done the old-fashioned way, customer service. You always first and foremost. Mondello's Pizzeria directly across the street. Grab some delicious Paisan cuisine 7 days a week from Joe and the gang over there. Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. And Mars Plumbing and Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue. We get our program underway with our scoreboard sponsor, and of course, always sponsoring our scoreboard here during Wyoming Sports Talk today, Pepsi Shine. We go first to Nick. What's going on?
LCCC in action late last night, at least men's action, as they played host to Northeastern Junior College. It was a fun one, and we will talk with Jason Ficca about that. But it was a victory, a close one, 67-65 for LCCC. They moved to 4-6 overall onto the season. Do want to remind folks as well that LCCC women's basketball in action here on 1480 KRAE coming up tomorrow night, 7:30 tip-off, 7:10 pregame show here on KRAE, as it will be the LCCC women's basketball team hosting the Colorado Springs Ballers. The Ballers in town, at least taking on the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles. Game you can hear here on 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com, and video live streaming as always on Periscope and the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel. That game as well too will be part of the LCCC Classic. Also too, before, since we will not be here, no Wyoming Sports Talk today. For tomorrow, do want to remind folks as well, coming up tomorrow, 7:35, puck drop will be between the Cheyenne Stampede and the Northern Colorado Eagles over the Cheyenne Ice at Event Center. Only a one-game contest, so go check that out as well. NHL action for tonight. New York Islanders in Boston taking on the Bruins at TD Garden. The Columbus Blue Jackets playing host to the Minnesota Wild. The Rangers of New York in Ottawa taking on the Sens. Tampa Bay Lightning playing host to the Buffalo Sabres. Arizona Coyotes taking on the Preds of Nashville in Bridgestone Arena. Winnipeg Jets at home at Bell MTS Place playing the Chicago Blackhawks. LA Kings in Edmonton taking on the Oilers. And the Vancouver Canucks at Rogers Arena playing host to my beloved Vegas Golden Knights. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
On the NBA hardwood tonight in the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, the Raptors will play host to the Golden State Warriors, Pacers, and the Lakers tonight in Staples. And in Sacramento, California at the Golden One Center, Sacramento Kings and the LA Clippers will do battle this evening. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
Right now, it's time for the LCCC Coaches Show as we get a chance first to talk to you. Ladies head coach Brian Ortmeier. who will be without a guest. All the ladies, studying? Is that what's going on? School?
yeah.
Amazing.
That's a good sign, though. It's crunch time for them. So their next week is kind of what a lot of schools would call dead week. It's that week right before finals, and then sure enough, after we get done with our 2 road trips next week to Otero and then North Platte, McCook, that circuit, they get 4 or 5 days to kind of hit the books, and then sure enough we finish with Otero right before break. So they're going to be busy, but yeah, they've got class, and it's just kind of one of those weeks where it just didn't quite fit right for any of them.
Keep it on that theme, and too bad we don't have a player in to at least discuss about that. But is that something that you've seen in your tenure, again, being around the JUCO ranks? Is that something that players have, at least, especially those freshmen who are not used to going from the high school ranks to at least junior college, is that something to at least juggle between practice, games, dead week, finals, all this? Have you noticed that freshmen struggle a bit during that time?
I think so. We especially once we hit about the 8-week mark, the first 8 weeks we try to meet with them once every 2 weeks just to see how they're doing academically. Then we hit midterms, and then again, we're trying to make sure that they get those 6 hours of study hall a week, and then we're checking in with them weekly just to make sure that they're finishing the semester right. And most of them are trending in the right direction. Again, the meetings I've had this past week have been good, but again, we travel a lot next week, which is a little concerning to me right before finals, but I think most of them have figured it out at this point, what they need to be successful, and most of them are going to hit that last test and get ready for that final coming up. But most of them are handling it well. I know they're stressed out. I can definitely tell just based in talking with them, but they're handling it well for first-time freshmen.
That road trip includes one trip to Lamar to go see Otero, and then also back to North Platte and McCook to wrap up that weekend. So we will be alongside as well.
Absolutely. And we also look at tomorrow, wrapping up the month of November, and I mean, the Lady Golden Eagles have hit the ground running as far as contests that they have been involved in. You look when you set up the schedule, did you want it more front-loaded prior to the Christmas break and then get into your conference play?
What's kind of interesting about that, we actually played 18 first semester contests last year, and we came back and we only had 12 remaining. So a little better balance this year with 15 and 15. I wish we didn't have that Tuesday contest next week with it being so close to finals, but you do get to that situation of, you try to schedule some over breaks. You try not to, you do try to give them some of their breaks, So again, we played over Thanksgiving, but then we give them Christmas, about 12 days over Christmas break, and you try to find a good balance. But you do get to a point where you have to bite the bullet and play on a Tuesday here and a Wednesday there, and I think it balanced itself out pretty well.
We talk a lot, especially off air, about your team, and matter of fact, I think of the conversation we had last night, and one of the things that I've seen looking at your team, and again, third season for you and the Lady Golden Eagles program, and it's been a build block by block type of process.
Yeah.
But I look at this team right now, and again, off the court, that's things that will be coming down the road. I'm venturing to say that as these girls become more. They're almost together now, and that camaraderie is going to go hand in hand. But on the court, I already see that right now, that this team, I'm passing to Nick, I'm passing to you. I have no problems giving the ball off, and that's what I'm seeing right now. The distribution of the basketball is going to everybody.
Yeah, and that's really been probably a testament to their success to this point so far. It's just we have had good balance. We've had bench players step up, maybe when some of our starting rotation doesn't have the greatest game. And so, again, knowing that we have that depth, knowing we have that balance, it's really made us click on offense, that's for sure. I think, again, there's things we can always get better at on the defensive end. But offensively, it shows. It shows in the way that we take care of the ball, the way that we've had – the last couple games especially, we've had a higher assist total. And then, again, we're sitting somewhere between 75 to 78 points a game. We push the tempo. We hit the open man. It doesn't seem like, somebody's trying to get themselves 25, 30 shots a night. It's good distribution, and it's good balance.
Well, you talk about at least team building. It's something that we saw this past weekend there on the road at McCook for the McCook Classic. It's something that you pulled along, at least your squad.
Yeah.
Did a little team building exercise there in the hotel, at least before that Northwest Kansas opening contest. And it showed. At least that team building, we saw that translate very well to the court between Northwest Kansas Tech and then at least that next contest against the CSU club team where everyone kind of gelled. As we mentioned, it was kind of trial, and then it all played out very well that past weekend.
Yeah, we took a good hour and a half just to sit down and kind of get together as a team. Just even today is a good example, trying to find somebody to come out here for 45 minutes to get across town and back. It's really difficult in the afternoons to find a good time to get everybody together. My assistant coach is probably her work schedule's the heaviest from about 4:30 to 6:30, again, working over at Gold's Gym. So she's pretty busy in the afternoons. We've got a lot of girls that finish class at 4, and then we've got some that start class at 4. And then a lot of them have kind of a tiny window to go grab, dinner from 5 to 6, and then we've got some at night class. So it really gets tricky to get a good time to do some team building. We've kind of done some in the mornings with breakfast. We did some of that kind of in October, earlier in the season, and then again, it's nice to kind of take some time on the road to really sit down, get to know each other better. And, we're going to have a lot of downtime over Christmas break, too. That's going to be another great time for us just to really mold that team off the court before we hit conference play.
Let's talk about Coach Ronaldo. Matter of fact, I had a chance just to, get to know her on our last road trip and talk about when she played basketball at NJC, if I'm not mistaken. And again, you had Markel Dent with you last year. What does Coach Ronaldo bring to the table that's a little bit different than Coach Dent? Obviously, Coach Dent had a fabulous career at UW, but again, Coach Ronaldo seems to she's trying to work herself into into those girls right now where they're like, okay, Coach, we understand.
Yeah, and she had a really great perspective, I would say, coming from Colorado Mesa, just coming from a really successful program, good Division II program, and again, some great coaching staff members that she got to play for out there. So again, she brings a good perspective in terms of some of the things that they've done to be successful at a Division II level, and just some great ideas to the table in terms of things that we have implemented in practice, kind of some more individual type drills on defense. Again, just some really nice things that she's been able to bring to the table from that perspective. So it's been refreshing, again, just to have an assistant coach that was with a very successful program, a Division II school. And then, again, just the work ethic she brings to the table has been excellent.
Looking back at the Lady Mavericks game, and I know we commented on our post-game show, and again, we've had discussions off air as well.
Mm-hmm.
I like the one time, and you said you were going to do this when we talked to you in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one time you put out there you had 4 guards.
Yeah.
And a forward on the floor, and it didn't matter that they had their big post player on the floor. This is a team I see this year has speed to burn. You must be really happy with that. And again, the 4 young ladies you had on the floor all can hit from beyond the arc as well.
Yeah, and that's why we've kind of went with some smaller lineups at times. What I've noticed what teams will do, and again, you try to self-scout yourself and see what, how they're going to try to slow down your offense. And again, we run more of that 5 out with a lot of cutting to the basket from the weak side. So when teams start to kind of sink, especially from the ball side corner, they'll try and sink off our 5. They'll try and play off our post player and say throw it to the corner and shoot. That's kind of when we went more to that Jakia Wells at the 5 spot, Mackenzie Fagan-Bush at the 5 spot. And as long as they can hold their own on defense, it gives us that option of you can't play in and try and help on those cuts. You've got to keep more spacing on the floor because we can flip it to the corner and hit that shot. Or, again, if they try and close out late, those ladies have that ability to take it off the dribble. So it gives us some flexibility to be able to space teams and shoot. But, again, you got to be able to hold your own on the defensive end there too.
Well, in this past weekend against Northwest Kansas and also to the CSU club team, it was kind of dubbed as the experimental weekend for you, Coach, where what we saw also too moving into that next contest against CSU club, a contest where you go in, you go, yes, we should beat this team, but it was pretty much as we talked off air with you as well of you ran a zone defense, tried out some new things. Is it a good thing to play teams like that to get those experiments out of the way? Or, I mean, what's kind of your feeling of where you're expected to beat this team, you beat them handily, but now you can play around with a few things? Does that alter minds for these girls, or is it beneficial during the regular season?
I think to have a game like that in the regular season, it works well if you have a couple players that are struggling. because they can try some different things out. Maybe some kid has been a little tentative off the dribble. Well, okay, this is a great game for you to try and attack more off the dribble. And then it also gives you an opportunity to maybe get a look at some of your bench players, because if they haven't gotten a lot of minutes since your scrimmages back in early October and middle of October, it gives them an opportunity again to go out and get some minutes, get 15, 20 minutes there in the second half or 25 minutes in a game that typically you're not going to see throughout the season. So again, it was good to get them those looks. A lot of times we're going to try and get our scrimmage, those 2-3 zone, those type of things in our scrimmages, so we get a good look against how it's going to look against a good team. So, but you get to tinker with some things, you get to try some things. So it was good to be able to try those things.
We're talking with Brian Ortmeier, head coach of the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles, and it is our LCCC Coaches Show. We're going to take a time out, and we'll be back with more. Again, our program being brought to you by Laramie County Community College.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College, you can discover the best version of yourself. It's time to take on new challenges, to enrich your life, and to create the future you deserve. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need.
For over 50 years, Capital Lumber Company has offered a full line of hardware and lumber selections. Plenty of materials, even for the do-it-yourselfer. So talk with one of the many experts today at Capital Lumber Company. Capital Lumber Company is the best in the region, and they are your true value hardware store. Lumber One in Cheyenne. Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 44. And for tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with a chance of snow with lows around 25. On Friday, it'll be cloudy with highs around 40. And on Friday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 25.
Here, the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today, LCCC Coaches Show, and ladies head coach Brian Ortmeier, no player today because they are studying. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. You are also going to be a part of our Revenge Tour that's coming up this weekend.
This Saturday, yeah.
But first, we have a ball game tomorrow night, which we will be there, and that will be against the unknowns. I mean, tomorrow I might be calling 4 to 6 to 12, and I have no idea. There's nothing. They are the mystery team, the Colorado Springs Ballers.
For the visuals, I got them as black and white, and we'll see what the colors are, at least on the floor. But yeah,
who knows? What do you know?
It's a little bit of a guessing game on our end too. We tried to get some information from one of our other league schools, and we haven't been able to get much information from them. We've also tried to get a roster from them, and the coach was going to send it to me this morning. We just, again, it's going to probably be very similar to what we kind of were looking at last year. They're going to be fast. They're going to be physical. They're not going to have a ton of players. They're going to probably run somewhere between 7 to 9 players on the roster, but they're all going to be able to make basketball plays. That's kind of the way I described it to our girls. They're not going to run a lot of offense, but they're going to be seasoned. They're going to be physical.
And they're athletic.
And they're athletic. They're going to be able to make a play that you're not going to see a lot of these other teams consistently make. So, for our girls, again, it's going to have to be playing disciplined, sound on defense, and making sure it's one shot and done, boxing them out. They did run a lot of 2-3 zone against us last year, so I would expect probably something similar. But again, they're not a pushover, washover team. I think against our league last year, they went 5-1 or 6-1 against our league team. So we're going to have to come ready to play. We can go ahead and throw them on the revenge tour too. They ended up getting us by, I think, 8 or 9 points last year at home. And, we had our opportunities. We turned the ball over, I think, 24, 25 times. It was our second game of the year, and just a sloppy game for us. So, again, if we take the approach that we've been playing with, they're going to look a lot like an Air Force prep, where just bigger and physical.
That was then. This is
that's
now,
right. Yeah.
Obviously,
you talk about 24 turnovers, and this is, at least this year's squad, is cut that in half. It's been just clean basketball play throughout this early part of this season. So it may not be a CSU club pushover team, or at least experiment, but at least anticipating that it's going to be a good contest coming up this Friday night. Is it something when you don't have rosters, you don't have size, you don't have anything on a team? Yeah. I mean, you as a head coach, is it something that kind of keeps you up nights? Are you worried about this, or is it just kind of, hey, let's just play our style of ball, here's how it goes, and hopefully we come away with the W?
Yeah, it's just, again, it's one of those, we just have to play our style of basketball. Take care of the ball, play good defense, and again, one shot and done. And then just execute, just consistently execute on our end. So if we do that, I mean, they're not a team that practices 5 days a week. You can always kind of expect that probably not going to be in the best shape conditioning. And, for us, again, we've hit the point of the season where we should have seen pretty much every action you're going to see. You're going to see down screens. You're going to see pin downs. You're going to see ball screens. You're going to see stagger screens away. You're going to see 2-3 zone. You're going to see everything at this point. So really it comes down to who's going to execute better than the other team. And again, if we do like we've been doing, we should be in a good position to win.
Part of the revenge tour will be on Saturday as well against Trinidad State.
Yep.
And again, hopefully you won't spot them 7 points right out of the box. And again, the deal was down there. And I will say, I will say
that game.
I will say it, and I won't let Coach say it. It was almost like a 5-on-8 contest. Yeah. But let's be real honest.
Let's not get Coach.
You had your opportunities though in that contest to win that thing. The better team did not win that night, but the score said Trinidad State 70, LCCC 65.
We kind of beat ourselves. We had a 7-point second quarter. We allowed them to score 40 points in the second half. And on top of that, I think we got out offensive rebounded like 18-5. And again, that's a team that I felt we should have been able to get on the boards against offensively. They weren't pushing the ball on us. They weren't trying to transition on us. We should have been crashing more. And, that's what has made us successful in a lot of our games, especially like you saw this last weekend against Northwest Kansas Tech. We're getting on the offensive boards. Air Force Prep at home, we're getting on the offensive boards. And, if we had done one of those areas a little better, better second quarter offensively, better second half defensively, maybe a few offensive rebounds, it's a 5-point game. And again, we probably end up making up that difference pretty easy, just being a little better in one of those areas. So we're in a good spot when we see them on Saturday.
The way that Gilmore crashed the boards for the Lady Trojans, again, some of your freshmen had not probably felt that type of physical presence on the floor. I mean, Gilmore's a pretty stout young lady, and she's and again, she doesn't mind climbing over your back for a rebound, and she gets away with it in Trinidad. But my point is, though, did your I think of Jakia and maybe we can use Alexis Lamoureux. Did they learn something from that game? Did they have a chance to watch some of that action?
Yeah, I think, again, it's something that we talked about the next day after we went back in, watched some of that film, and even as we prepared to get ready for the next game against Northwest Kansas Tech. It was something that we had to sit down, talk about, show them. And again, we've taken a couple days this week to get back to just the fundamentals of boxing out, attacking the ball off the rim, and I think that'll make a big difference. But, again, it's a learning experience for the freshmen, and I would expect that they've learned that lesson. And
I looked at that young lady. She's a sophomore down
Yeah.
there, and your kids are freshmen. Was that a case of them not being in the right position or not positioning themselves for the board?
I think it was a lot of just watching the ball. A lot of it came off of them attacking the rim off the dribble. So we're already kind of rotating to try and help over, and then it's just the extra person for them offensively is crashing. And again, we rotate over to help. Well, you're in a bad position now to get back to your man on the backside. So again, it was a lot of backside rebounding. We're going to have to just do a better job of rebounding on the backside and making sure that we're not standing and watching the ball come off the rim. We're actually hitting somebody and then going and ripping it down.
Well, it's not the Michigan revenge tour, but it's the LCCC women's revenge tour coming up.
We expect to win. That's why.
I was going to say, I don't want to compare the two tours. I mean, theirs didn't end very well.
We have the real revenge tour. We actually win.
Michigan failed. LCCC. We're wanting victories out of it.
The tone was set last night.
Yes.
So we want to continue that momentum,
and it will at least continue. At least coming up again Friday. Want to remind folks here at the RAC, LCCC in action, 7:30 tip-off there at home against the Colorado Springs Ballers. Part of the LCCC Classic that the women are participating in, and then Saturday 5 o'clock at the RAC for the women. They will play host to Trinidad State, the Lady Trojans. So again, do encourage folks to tune in to our action again, whether it's listening, watching, or either tending out there at the RAC as well too to support these two teams.
Well, Coach, we thank you very much for joining us today, and we will catch up with you tomorrow evening prior to the contest against the Colorado Springs Ballers. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Men's head coach Jason Ficca coming up after these words right here in 1480 KRAE.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Boys, everyone shares everything nowadays. They share where they're eating, pictures of what they're eating. Heck, they even share feelings about what they're eating. And that's just fine, but some things you need to keep to yourself, like these new loaded nachos from Taco John's.
Taco John's new loaded nachos are a meal-sized stack of chips topped with sirloin steak or pork carnitas and creamy poblano queso.
Gather around, boys. Let's get a selfie with my loaded nachos.
Olay the Day at Taco John's.
Go down the list. The new 2019 Kia Sorento is impressive all the way around. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and you need to compare the Kia Sorento against the competition on price, warranty, safety, awards, and standard or available features. Right now, during our Light Up the Holiday sales event, you could take advantage of some of the year's best offers. Available Dynamax all-wheel drive and a new 8-speed automatic transmission will keep you going down the road this season. Come by or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83? Come on, you're up!
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
For 56 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Also with KYY FM, we are Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM/FM combo radio stations. Add that to the addition of 3 FM radio translators to serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYY, and that equals a lot of bang for your local advertising dollar. Radio, yesterday and today, still works. For more information, contact Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We were back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Seems like just 24 hours ago, we were having a pregame show with Coach Jason Ficca. And then
how appropriate for ZZ Top with a sharp-dressed man, again, the guy across the way who was, He knows how to rock some good, at least the Reds out there on the floor.
Yes, he does. Anyway, Coach, you have been in LCCC now 12 seasons, and again, you've chalked up a lot of wins. And again, our second season covering the Golden Eagles.
Ever closely to that 200th.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that here one of these days. But my point is, Coach, and you said it last night on the post-game show, boy, what a tough way to make a living sometimes. But, you've had a lot of those games in your career. But when you have a chance to look back at it, do you say, man, that was a fun one last night for our team?
Well, yeah, I thought so. I thought it was really satisfying. I was very proud of how we won the game. And, we won it on tenacity. The day after a game, I do a statistical analysis. It's called an efficiency rating, and it basically takes it's a formula, mathematics. You take the things you find in a box score stat sheet, the positive things, and divide by the negative things, and put them into a chart, and come up with a letter grade. And we actually were less efficient than our opponent last night. NJC didn't miss free throws. That helps your efficiency. They didn't turn it over much. That helps your efficiency. So we found a way to win when we were less efficient than our opponent, and that was on the things you can't measure. It was just tenacity, toughness, timely, making plays in a timely manner. I think we grabbed 3 offensive rebounds in the last couple of minutes off of missed free throws. So missed free throws is a problem, but the timeliness of those 3 offensive rebounds really helped us. So I was really happy with the way we won.
If we want to give letter grades to the performance last night, I want to spotlight the defensive effort, especially there in the second half. If I can give an A or maybe an A+, it seemed like in that second half on the defensive end, especially by one center, at least someone we will talk with here very shortly, David Appelgren. A few block shots that were huge there at the final minutes of that contest. But
the funny thing is, the biggest block shot of the game was by our smallest player, Tyrese Potoma. But again, I mean, in the stat sheet, that's a block. And yes, it helps your efficiency. It's a positive stat. But the timeliness of it, with 1.2 seconds left and them having a chance to tie, that's how we won it.
Let me ask you this question too, Coach. Again, timeout was called, 1.2 seconds. You have a chance to, and I think it was a full timeout called by their coach, Coach Trinkle. And I guess my question is to you, was that kind of the defensive setup to let Johnson get past Potoma and Potoma come behind him and tap the ball away? Well, set that up for us.
Well, it really I thought about, we still had a timeout. I think we had 2. And I thought about taking a timeout after they showed their set. But then when I saw their set, I thought, well, what are we going to do different than what we just talked about? So we left it in it. And basically our game plan was to not switch anything, to fight through all screens. And what they did is they took advantage of that. They knew we were doing that all night long. So it really wasn't Tyrese that got beat. The 2 players came together at the free throw line like they were going to screen, and Kyle Cabbs fought to get through the screen, but then got back cut. And Tyrese recovered for him. So what looked like with the naked eye, because that's what we thought last night with the naked eye, that Tyrese just got beat to the rim. No, Tyrese was Kyle jumped through the screen, but the guy back cut him, and Tyrese came off of his guy and recovered and helped him. So Coach Salisbury, I think, really got on Tyrese about that after the game, and he had to eat crow this afternoon in film in our video session, which we just finished. So it was really a heads-up, very heady play, and a great effort by Tyrese.
Something that's very interesting, and I'm glad I asked that question, too. You're in this tight of a ball game. And, again, like we said when we were going back and forth with the timeouts, in about the last 21 seconds, it goes for about 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. It must be an eternity for you and the young men out there. But timeout, timeout, timeout. What is the discussion? What is going through your mind? And again, you have a great secondary mind in Dwayne Salisbury, who's there, helping out and directing the young men as well. But what are you expressing to the guys before they come back out on the court?
Well, a lot of it is time and score. Okay, we're up 2 possessions, or whatever it is. We're up 1 possession, we're up 2 possessions. There was one time I took just to explain that. Hey, we're up 4, that's 2 possessions. The only thing that they can do to tie here is make a three-pointer, get fouled on it. So don't foul a jump shooter. We're going to get the ball back. They're going to have to foul us. So a lot of it is just time and score situations that we're talking about, and then how to defend. Down the stretch late when we're trying to preserve a win like that, I think on their last possession or two, we went to their last regular full court possession, we went to switching everything, and because we didn't want to give up an open look from three that could beat us, so we want to switch and stay out. If they go lay it up, fine, two-pointer doesn't beat us. So those types of things. I kept wanting to take timeout. I had timeouts. I kept wanting to take timeouts after we made our second free throw. We wouldn't make the second free throw because we got to the line. They had to foul us 2 or 3 times there. And I kept telling the ref, we make the second one, I'm going to take timeout. We kept missing the second one.
Yeah, we made it interesting down the stretch.
Yeah, there were a lot of missed offensive opportunities that we kind of pointed out on that broadcast. But I want to focus as well. Again, we know what Tyrese Potomac can do for your offense, at least unit for LCCC. He is a phenomenal athlete. But I do want to focus at least a few players who were former starters coming off the bench for you. One being Hayden Collier, of his effort last night, but also two, Mateo Zovko, of what he did as well, too, coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Just talk about what their efforts meant for last night's victory.
Kyle, when last weekend we made the decision to start the 2 point guards together because Tyrese can play off the ball equally as well as on the ball, and that worked out because Kyle was hurt. Well, then Kyle's healthy again. We definitely want to get him back on the floor because he's really our best defender, high energy guy. He really brings a lot to our team on the defensive end, and so we wanted to get him back in, and we wanted to keep playing the 2 guards, and we wanted to keep a big guy on the floor, David. So then it came down to, well, who we gonna not start, Courtney or Mateo? And I just thought Mateo would be better coming off the bench. He's done nothing wrong to not start. That's what I told him. He's done nothing wrong. He's played, he's our second leading scorer, I think. And he still was last night.
Yeah.
So I don't think it changed his role. I don't think it changed his minutes. It just coming off the bench. So it worked. We'll have a fluid situation, I think, with our starting lineup all year long. I don't know if we'll ever just settle in and have one starting lineup for 5, 6, 8 games in a row. But yeah, it was. You mentioned Hayden. That was Hayden's definitely his best game of this season, and probably his best game since he's been here. I told him today though, but that should be the base. 8.6 rebounds. I mean that should be a given every night. He competed very well. He was tough, and he did a good job. Knocked down a couple jumpers, one in the paint. Those were 8 second half points was really, really important for us.
Well, as you talk, especially about Hayden Collier, where you're saying, hey, that's kind of, you set the bar, now let's kind of elevate it game in and game out for yourself. But something that you've kind of talked with us about a few times throughout this season of, hey, it's going to be a work in progress, stepping stone here, there, at least going forward throughout this regular season. Are you seeing that right now again after, as we're coining the phrase for both teams, this kind of revenge tour this week here at home? Again, getting defeated by Northeastern there at Sterling, coming away with a 2-point victory here, at least last night. Are you seeing those slow steps, at least towards at least a positive momentum for this LCCC squad?
Yeah, definitely. I do. I like where we're at now. I mean, a week ago at this time, we weren't a very good basketball team, and I think we're significantly better than we were a week ago. But we'll see. We're going into play in Trinidad, and that's a week ago at this time. We were just coming off of getting beat by Trinidad, and we weren't great. And then we sunk pretty low last Friday, and then we started climbing out last Saturday, and then I think we put ourselves in a pretty good frame of mind, pretty good place last night. Now we got to sustain and keep building on that.
Part of the tour, again, is the Trojans will come to town on Saturday. As I think back to that game down there, they got pretty good elements. They're not a bad outfit, but the thing that really drove all of us nuts, how they just control the inside. And we got the big guy sitting out there. Kyle, if I'm not mistaken, got hurt early in that contest,
yeah.
and that kind of threw a little monkey wrench into our plans through that game.
No, that was a big factor. Kyle got hurt in the first 2 minutes and didn't play the rest of the game. We got to do a better job, definitely, guarding their high ball screen action. We didn't guard it very well down there, so that'll be the charge for us. See how we can adjust and do a better job of guarding that action. If we can guard that better, then we got to pay attention to a couple personnel things a little bit better. But overall, X's and O's, we got to guard the high ball screen a whole lot better than we did. Guard a couple particular people differently than we did.
Final thought here, as we were going to talk with David Appelgren coming up after the break. Coach, and I talked about it on our pregame show last night. Last year we were a predominantly outside shooting team. Kyle Wright, and even when you had those coming off the bench in support of Kyle, we were not one that we were going to go down to the low block and expect points all the time. Now that we have the height this year, I mean, you're blessed with 3 guys that are pretty doggone tall, and you've got outside shooting prowess. Is this something that you being the offensive mind that you are, is this something that you can put both elements together and make this thing another high point outage for this team?
Well, we're in the process of tweaking pretty significantly what we're doing offensively. We're not really doing anything different, but we're putting a pattern to our motion offense. And once we get that pattern down, and then we'll start running set plays off of that pattern, I think we'll get a little bit more cohesive, a little more offensive flow. Right now we've been pretty disjointed. Our set plays don't really match great to our motion offense, and our motion offense is a freelance offense, so we weren't getting a whole lot of movement. Now we started to do it last night. We got the movement, but now we got to get the execution down in our continuity motion offense that we're putting in. But a big part of that is focusing on getting the ball down low more, and not so much just dumping it to David with his back to the basket or dumping it to Hayden, but those guys are tall. We need to come off of pick and rolls and look to throw over the defense. We're working on a lot of high-low situations, trying to throw over the top of the defense and get good looks that way. David is tall, Hayden is tall, but neither are beefy. They're not. They're slender, lean builds. So to think that we're just going to put their back to the basket and have them muscle it in, that's probably not the best strategy. So we're trying to find other ways to get the ball to the rim. Throwing over the top seems to make sense.
But you also, on a defensive side, though, if I'm a defensive or I'm the coach of the other team, I can't just zone you all throughout the contest, and I can't man you. It's almost like you force the hand of the other coaches and what they're going to have to throw on the floor against you sometimes.
Yeah, there's not too many people that play a lot of zone defense in our region, so most of the coaches kind of stick to what they do normally, and we probably would be a prime candidate team to zone if you look at it statistically, but we haven't been zoned a whole lot. I don't know why, other than I've never known Coach Trinkle, NJC, to ever do anything other than play man-to-man.
Yeah.
That's what he does. So I don't even know if they have a zone defense.
Coach, we're going to see you on Saturday, and looking forward to part 2 of the revenge tour.
Yeah, part 1's always already a W.
That's a W. Yeah. We're halfway home. We're going to look for W number 2 coming up on Saturday against the Trojans of Trinidad State. Hey, again, it is our coaches show here from Laramie County Community College, brought to you by LCCC.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College, you can discover the best version of yourself. It's time to take on new challenges, to enrich your life, and to create the future you deserve. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
One of the safest choices drivers and passengers can make is to buckle up every trip, every time. In 2016, seatbelt usage in passenger vehicles saved an estimated 14,668 lives nationally. We know it will save our lives, but too often we forget, many times with dire, potentially fatal results. Make sure you and your passengers buckle up every time. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds. Due to our stormy season this summer, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service is offering you a hail of a deal on a wide variety of travel trailers, including toy haulers. Get up to an additional 50% off MSRP on Jolly Rogers' already low prices. Check out their new and used inventory. Damaged or not, you can still travel in style. Call Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service today, your exclusive Jayco dealer, at 634-8457. See them at 6102 U.S. Highway 30 or go to jollyrogersrv.com. Feeling that cool Wyoming breeze in the early morning? That means fall is here, and our Wyoming winter is close behind. So now's the time to make sure your furnace is in good repair. And Marv's Plumbing Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue is the place to go. Marv's trained technicians can inspect, repair, and replace your furnace and boiler and are available 24/7. Freezing temperatures in Wyoming can happen at any time. No one wants to shiver in their own home. Don't get the chills. Stay cozy. Call Marv's Plumbing Heating at 316-7634 today.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 44. And for tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with a chance of snow with lows around 25. On Friday, it'll be cloudy with highs around 40. And on Friday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 25.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We're back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. We get a chance now to talk to one of the players on the LCCC Golden Eagles. He is the center, the pivot man, 7'1" freshman from Stockholm, Sweden. And we are glad that he is playing for our LCCC Golden Eagles. First and foremost, we are talking with David Appelgren. David, tell us real quick, who did you get the height from? What side of the family?
I would have to say my mother, really, because my father is like maybe 6'5", and my mother is over 6 foot. So.
Wow.
Wow.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have a big brother at around 6'8" too, and a little sister that plays basketball, and I think she's 6'1" right now, and she's 15 years.
15 years old.
We'll ask you, David, to tilt that microphone up so we can hear you a little clearer. There we go. So, but again, as we mentioned, you're fresh from Stockholm, Sweden. As we talk, at least I was talking with you. Yeah. A little change of pace, at least not so much the weather so far here in the winter, but the wind, something to get adjusted to. But talk about just the overall differences between Sweden and Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Well, the wind is to begin with really bad. I really don't like the wind. But other than that, I would say it's pretty much the same. The food is a bit different, though. It's a lot more fat in the food right here than it's back home.
Yeah, a little red meat more than the kind of seafood dishes out there, at least near in the Norwegian. But kind of going off of that question there for you, David, is how did you get recruited? How did you come from Sweden? How did that process happen to get you from Sweden to play for LCCC here in Cheyenne, Wyoming?
Yeah, so last year after I finished high school in Sweden, I decided I wanted to try out the American game of basketball. So I decided to take a prep school year. And after a year in Tennessee, I got contact with Coach Ficca and went from there.
David, let me ask you this question, and again, I see the difference, but those that play basketball in Europe and they come over here to the United States, they encounter a more physical game. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So, and you're already got 10 games in with the Golden Eagles right now. Have you noticed teams, especially because you are thinly built?
Yeah.
And again, you'll match up like last night against Ben Davis the second and Rolando Rogers. Those are big, muscular guys. I call them aircraft carriers, but they try to bounce you around. Do you feel that physicalness after every game?
Yeah, I really feel it. I will get a lot of hits, but I think Coach Ficca will be really working hard on that to get me used to like bending down low. Before in Europe, I was really used to just playing with my height, just standing straight up because nobody could reach me. But here it doesn't work, so I really work on to getting down low and playing much tougher.
One of the things that my son noticed last night during the ball game, and of course I would mention that as well, you're becoming the human fly swatter. I mean, I guess, is there a rush? You get that excitement when you block a shot, or what is better for you, a slam dunk or blocking a shot?
That's a tough question.
That's why I ask them.
I think both really gives energy to the team, and that's why I think both is important. But I've always been more of a defensive player than an offensive player. So I think a block for me is worth more than a dunk.
And you can see it as well, too, in a few of those swats. He tried to swat it back down to Sterling, Colorado a few times in that contest. Got to love it. David, as we ask every player here on the LCCC Coaching Show, what are you currently studying right now at LCCC?
I'm studying business.
Is that something you're looking to kind of continue on in your college career, or is it just kind of a placeholder until you figure out something?
I think I will go some business way. Might not really be business, but somewhere around business, yeah.
And obviously with LCCC only going to be around for maybe 1 year, 2 years, hopefully, at least it be for your sophomore season. But plans once you're done with LCCC, are you looking to kind of retain in the States, go to a Division I, Division II school to continue basketball, or head back out to Europe to kind of continue play out there? What's kind of the future look like for you?
I think I want to go to Division I school, really. I like the concept of studying basketball at the same time. I did that back in Sweden too in high school, so I really like it. I would prefer to stay on the East Coast, though, because it's closer to home.
Yeah, don't have the long road trip.
Do you have a favorite NBA team? Because you said prefer the East Coast, and I thought, are you a fan of Boston, or do you have a favorite NBA team?
If I would have to choose Clippers then, that's my favorite.
L.A. Clippers?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Nobody ever says they're Golden State Warriors. What's going on here? So, David, as we talk with Coach Ficca, and again, a lot of you guys are freshmen this year. Hayden is from last year, and I don't want to miss out on
Stefan
Manzi. Have those guys been helps to you? The guys that are back this season, the bigger guys.
Yeah, I think they showed the way really early, but I think we freshmen have to step up too because we only have 2 sophomores. That is not enough. So
tell me about the win last night, and again, for me, it was an exciting last 5 minutes of that game where we came back and won. For you guys, you went down there, you got beat by 16 points.
Yeah.
How did that feel last night when you guys were in the locker room after it was all said and done?
It feels really good. We really felt before the game like we had revenge to take out on these guys, and it felt good that we didn't start off that good, but in the last 5 minutes, like you said, we played really good and really stepped up, so that feels good.
So that's one check mark again, as they've talked about revenge. But coming up this weekend, again, this Saturday, you'll see Trinidad State, another foe that you had difficulties on the road against down there in Trinidad, Colorado. They're going to be physical as well, too. For someone like you, again, at least trying to get adjusted to this new style play here in the States, what are kind of pregame warm-ups or pregame kind of stints that you do to prepare for this Trinidad State coming in this Saturday?
I think we will change a bit of the coaching first because now we know how they play and we weren't really ready before. So I think that's the most important part.
When you play with new teammates, and again, you have Tyrese and you have Sprejan in the backcourt, you got Hayden out there or Mateo. Are you guys starting to get that feel of each other? If you have the basketball on an offensive board, you're ready to get it to Kyle or Courtney. I mean, do you guys all feel comfortable with each other now on the floor? You know what everybody's going to do?
Yeah, I think we're really starting to play more like a team, at least the last night. We really played like a team in the last minutes, and that helped us win.
So a game like last night, and again, not to throw pressure on this team, but a game like last night, and I said this to Coach Ficca in our post-game show, is this a game that can get you to that next level? Because you struggled in Salt Lake City, and this one was a big win for you last night. But is this the game, like yourself and the younger guys on there, is this the game that can move you ahead and get you ready for conference season?
Yeah, I think the last night really showed us like what level we have to compete on, because we had a problem before. We didn't really compete like we did in practice. But last night we really just came out there and really played basketball.
Anything else, Nick?
I think we've covered everything with David, at least so far here. So, again, thank you, David, at least coming in, talking with us, giving us a little insider information. Again, coming all the way from Stockholm, Sweden to the lonely outreaches of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Again, I like the key thing. You mentioned the wind. We all hate the wind out here, David. So don't think we're used to it, but we don't like it either. So again, best of luck to you. At least your time here at LCCC, and also to in the future. Hopefully, we maybe see you. He wants to go back to the East Coast, but I think maybe Wyoming, the Cowboys.
Well, we got Landon Talaferro back there, and he's tearing them up too right now.
At
So
Fairfield,
I think that's a great little deal. All right, we got to wrap things up here. We want to remind everybody tonight it is our final night of our Golden Age of Radio Theater from 8 until 10. So from 8 until 9, Sherlock Holmes times 2, followed up by our Suspense Theater from 9 until 10. The best of the 50s and 60s. Hoops tomorrow, 7:30. Our
7:30 tip-off, 7:10 on
our pregame show.
Yeah, with LCCC women in action against the Colorado Springs Ballers. Again, a team that even Coach Ortmeier has no idea about this team. So we're going in, again, completely clueless on this one. So we'll
I'm
see.
the one who's got to call the game, so you want to talk about being
I got
clueless.
I got a video operated, so we'll try it,
All right, well, anyway, we're going to wrap things up here. We got the best of the 50s and 60s coming up. What do you got on this date in history? Maybe, again, I don't know if you know our history, but we'll see what we got here.
I mean, sports history, it gets around the globe, so maybe, again, it's well before your time, at least 3 years before I was even born, but November 29th, we'll go back to the year 1987, a Hall of Fame quarterback at least did this in the NFL. He set this record on this date. 1987, think about it. Who was king? You got the helmets there in front of you.
Well, I was going to say Joe Montana. That was my first guess.
So what did he do? That was an NFL record.
Joe Montana probably through...
Granted, you can see the paper.
No, I can't see it. I don't have my glasses on.
November 29th, 1980.
2 touchdown passes.
Close enough. November 29th, 1987, Joe Montana of the San Francisco 49ers completes NFL record of 22 consecutive passes on this date. There wasn't a whole lot that happened today, so.
Yeah, it was obviously a real boring day. All right, so for Coach Brian Ortmeier of the Lady Golden Eagles, Coach Jason Ficca of the Golden Eagles, and to David Appelgren from the Golden Eagles, we want to say thank you. That'll wrap up our LCCC Coaches Show.